Ladies and gentlemen of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, it is I, your Redeemer, TC Adams, coming to you live from Philadelphia. I believe that's where we're at because we are here live. Let me get the links out to everyone so they can see the action live, because here we are. And listen, I wish I could do this alone. I would probably be the best color commentator you would ever see, but the reality is Lorenzo Benzo believes that I need a co-host, and a co-host I will have. So ladies and gentlemen, I am proud, semi-proud, to bring in the co-host for the evening, Brother Ambrose.
As always, thank you for that warm introduction, TC.
Of course. Well, I have you here. You look festive. You ready for your one-on-one match with JC Renegade tonight?
I am indeed. That boy has some demons, and they will be exercised tonight. He needs help. And who better to give it than me?
Some may say that they might need their Redeemer to help them. But I guess you are a good side character to do so.
To be fair, we've seen how things have been working out for the Redeemed the last few weeks.
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen of the Smoky Mountain universe, it is breaking point. We are here live in Philadelphia at the Xfinity Center. And if you are here watching with us live, jump into the comments. We will react. We have a stacked card for you tonight. And not only do we have probably one of the greatest main events in the history of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, but we have a husband versus a wife for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship.
And we've had this conversation backstage in the locker room, but I fully believe that it will not be too long until Baby Beast makes his debut.
Baby
that
Beast,
little kid with those jeans, you know he will be a monster one day.
But listen, no will be for naught, because I, your green ticket champion, is your uncrowned world champion too. You see that? And Chase Havoc and Reggie Walker have no shot. As we get closer to that, I am ready for them. I ain't sweating them. Not at all. So, drop your comments in the comment section. We will read them, but we are going to get the action started with a rivalry that has been brewing over the last several weeks, probably because they love their time in the Redeemed. They just want to fight each other. We have Hayden 6 and Robert. Listen, look at this guy. Look at this clown. Shut up. Come on, child. You're going to take care of him tonight, yes? Yes. All right. But we start off the action hot here in Philadelphia. They air inside the Philadelphia's Xfinity Live Arena. It's thick with the scent of cheesesteaks and stale beer.
Oh, yeah.
But the dominant note is in the electric hum of the crowd that lives for violence. Listen, my wife is from Philadelphia, and I know how crazy they can get. So listen, this crowd was hot for Breaking Point tonight.
Well, I love it. You know, just look back to a couple Super Bowls ago. If they win a game, they're tearing apart their city. If they lose the game, they're definitely tearing apart their city. So I can't imagine what tonight will look like with all the action that we have going on.
Listen, it's going to be hot and heavy, just like Never mind. This is a PG show. This isn't just a match, though, between Robert and Hayden 6. It is a grudge that has outgrown the ring and is a falls count anywhere stipulation. Feels less like a rule and more like a warning. The bell hasn't even finished ringing before Hayden 6 and Robert collide in the center of the canvas. Robert doesn't go for a traditional lockup. He throws a heavy cross fist right that catches Hayden 6 against the jaw. Hayden staggers but responds with a technical precision of an assassin, snapping Robert into a single headlock and transitioning instantly into a blistering backbreaker. Six's offense is beautiful in a jagged mosaic. He flows from the crisp drop kick into a punishing grounded chin lock, twisting Robert's neck like a veteran with malice. Robert, a creature of chaos, bites down on Hayden 6's hands to break the hole and rolls to the floor. He grabs a steel chair from a stunned fan in the front row and wedges it into the corner turnbuckle. 6 tries to whip him into the steel, but Robert reverses it, and the two men end up brawling through the ropes and into the crowd. They can't be doing stuff like that. That's nuts. They trade stiff forearm smashes over the barricade, spilling onto the floor seats where Hayden 6 catches Robert with a sudden snap suplex to the concrete for the 1, the 2, but Robert kicks out. His eyes glazed but determined. The fight moves towards the bar area of the arena. Robert grabs a heavy equipment crate, swinging it for a desperate force into 6's ribs, but he doesn't stop there, dragging 6 towards the refreshment stand and smashes a glass pitcher over his head. Dang, that's rough. Hate to see that. In a moment of pure psychological warfare, Robert mocks the crowd, spreading his arms wide in a crucifix pose while Hayden 6 leaks crimson right onto the floor of the arena. Get the janitors ready, friends, because they're going to be mopping up blood tonight. Hayden 6 is gasping for air, but manages to find a second wind. He trips Robert into a trash can and executes a perfect bridging German suplex right on the concourse floor and move of pure technical grace in a sea of filth. The referee slides across the slick floor for the count. For the 1, the 2, but Robert grabs the leg of a nearby table to break the pin. As they fight deeper into the venue, Robert spots a heavy industrial-sized ladder leaning against a pillar. He hurls 6 into it, and the metal clanging like a church bell. He got his bell wrong. You get it? Okay, good. Robert attempts to climb, but Hayden 6 recovers with a terrifying speed, scaling the opposite side, and at the very top, 10 feet above the hard concrete, Hayden 6 locks Robert in a front face lock and drives him down with a massive superplex that shatters a row of plastic folding chairs for the 1, the 2, but then kicks out at 2.8. Robert's shoulder twitches upward by a fraction of a second. They have just been tearing each other apart. They spill out towards the exterior parking lot entrance where Philadelphia cold air hits him like a slap across the face. It's a very true fact. Robert spots a production truck and slams Hayden 6's head into the heavy steel door. He drags 6 up the roof of the truck, but 6 counters with a powerbomb attempt, sliding through Robert's legs and hitting a precision drop kick that sends Robert flying off the roof and crashing through the stack of wooden crates below. Hayden 6 does not hesitate. He stands on the edge of the truck and delivers a diving elbow with his body weight, crushing Robert into the debris. And Hayden grabs Robert's back inside through the kitchen service hallway. Robert suddenly grabs a heavy steel baking tray and smashes it over the head of Hayden 6, then pins his arms inside the industrial freezer door, slamming it repeatedly, and the cookies are going everywhere. He has tossed his cookies, Brother Ambrose.
Ugh. I do believe concessions will be at a discount tonight.
I would hope so. With Six's arm reeling, Robert drags him towards a tall mezzanine staircase. In a moment of sheer desperation, Six uses his good arm to grab Robert by the wristband and executes a harrowing sunset flip powerbomb, sending both men tumbling down 12 metal steps before crashing into the stack of kegs at the bottom. And they go for the pin. The 1, the 2, but 2.9. How is this even possible? Hayden 6 cannot believe it. The Philly crowd is losing their minds. They stagger towards the high-end lounge where the glass panels railing overlook the lower levels. Robert grabs a heavy velvet rope and swings it like a club, but is caught, which catches Hayden 6 in the gut. In the gut. He tries to toss Hayden 6 over the railing, but 6 hooks his leg around Robert's neck, pulling them both through the glass panel. They crash through the glass together, falling 8 feet onto the heavy oak dining table that snaps in half like a toothpick because these are large dudes. Shards of glass scatter like diamonds across the floor. Hayden 6 catches his breath, pulls Robert in close, and drags a dazed Robert towards a narrow set of stairs leading into a technical platform positioned 20 feet over a wooden pallet of the protection gear. Both men are exhausted at this point, leaning against each other to try to stay upright. Their blood is mixing on the metal grate. Hayden 6 sees an opening and winds up for his finish. He is going to strike with his poisonous elbow, and the crack of the bone on bone echoing through the rafters. Robert's head snaps back, but instead of falling, he lunges forward with a feral roar, wrapping his arms around Hayden 6's waist like a death grip. Robert's face masked with blood as he whispers something lost in the roar of the Philadelphia crowd, and he executing a massive falling DDT from the edge of the platform. They didn't just fall, Brother Ambrose. They plummeted.
I'm honestly surprised neither of them are dead.
They really should be dead at this point, but the action continues. The sound of the impact is so sickening. The splinter of the wood, groan of metal, and the heavy and haunting silence. Both men are buried under a mountain of shattered pallets, twisted camera cables, and the referee scrambles down the ladder, and his hand is trembling as he checks for signs of life. He starts to count, but neither man moves. 1. Hayden 6 twitch in the debris. 2, 3, 4, 5. Robert's eyes open, but they're staring at the rafters, unfocused to blink. 6, 7, 8. The crowd is screaming for one of them to rise. They're chanting, "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" They're chanting that from the whole arena. 9, 10. The bell rings 3 times, slow and somber, as the medical staff rushes in with stretchers and neck braces as the Xfinity Live Arena stands in a stunned, respectful ovation. Hayden 6 and Robert didn't not just break each other, they destroyed the arena. Wow.
I'm honestly worried for both of them. I don't know how quickly they'll be able to recover from this. That took everything out of both of them. That's rare that we see a double count out from two usually good competitors. And as we've seen tonight, they weren't just good, they were great. They brought a match, and this is just the beginning, folks. And so I really am curious for the rest of the night and how tonight's is going to go, because Breaking Point is called that for a reason. The men and women of Smoky Mountain Wrestling tonight will be brought to their breaking point.
Listen, as you know, I have a fondness for Robert and Hayden Six, even though they're utter trash. This is their coming out party, and I have appreciated the two men out there who put it all on the line for the fans in Philadelphia and for me, because I'm a fan of what they did. Chaos and destruction, man, you gotta love it.
It was something. And like I said, I believe that as the night goes on, the janitors and crew, they will have their hands full with the amount of times that I believe they're going to have to clean up this place and put things back together. I don't know how many more tables we have under that ring.
Don't worry. I've added a little bit extra for the budget this week. Lorenzo Benzo gave me his credit card, and we are golden for the night.
So the lights will stay on this week?
The lights are already staying on. Look, I even got you your lights. You see all that? I hooked you up, brother Ambrose. The next match on the card tonight, it is I don't know why they got a tag team title match, but they did. It is the No Mercy Luchadors taking on Killing Cutter. Brother Ambrose, take it away.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I am excited to see this match. I'm excited to see what those luchadors bring against those boys from North Kakalaki. But so let's begin. The bell rings, and the No Mercy Luchadors, they do not back down. These are two tough gentlemen. And so we see David Hill, who towers over the champions like a monolith. He steps forward, and Bubba and Allen, they attempt to come at him with dual clothesline, and it does absolutely nothing. Hill does not budge. And then Hill, that big giant that he is, lets out a guttural roar as he catches both of the champions by their throats. And what I think is a pretty rare display of big man dominance, he lifts both of them up. Both members of Killing Cutters up in the air, and he drives them into the canvas. Rather than he being on the end of a double clothesline, they double choke slammed. How often do you see that? The ring boards are groaning under the impact. Casey Luchador, he's playing to the crowd with the theatrical flourishings. He's dancing around. You know, he's got those little arriba going on, whatever he does. I love it. He's followed by going up the turnbuckle, and he jumps and delivers a crossbody to the outside, wiping out both of the champions as they had retreated out to the floor to try to catch their breath. And instead, they caught a Casey Luchador. Oh, man. For a fleeting moment, it looked like this was going to be the upset of the century. It looked like the Casey Luchador and David Hill were going to take it. Oh, but it looks like the momentum shifted. Killing Cutter realized that they are part of a street fight rather than a plain wrestling match. David Hill chases after them, running towards the entrance ramp, and Allen reached under the ring, and what did he pull out but something that only those rednecks would think of, a rusted, dirty old chain. So as Hill lunges, Allen whips out that metal across the big man's midsection. He ends up doubling over. Ugh, man. Ugh. And Bubba isn't too far behind, as we can see. He's grabbing a silver trash can from underneath the apron, which is good that he didn't grab it from the crowd, because the crowd is full with all their trash from all the beer and Philly cheesesteaks they've been eating. But he grabs the trash can and he smashes it right over Casey Luchador, right across his face. You could hear the thud even with all the noise in here. And so Bubba then decides he is going to jam the can over Casey's head, leaving the luchador stumbling around blindly, looking a little bit like Io Sky, but without the balance and wherewithal of what she's doing. And so he's just plummeting around. And so, utilizing the old school brawling grit, killing Cutter, they drag David Hill towards the ringside barricade. They execute a wishbone leg split against a steel ring. He and his boys are going to feel that, as it has neutralized the giant at his base. Casey Luchador tries to make a comeback. He finally got the trash can off of his head, but Allen ends up grabbing a fire extinguisher out of the corner, sprays him in the face with a cloud of chemical spray, blinding the luchador and completely stalling any momentum that he had wanted to have. Trying to salvage this situation, David Hill reaches under the apron and pulls out a weapon-filled shopping cart, which I'll be honest, y'all, I don't even know how we got that under there, and all the weapons inside. So he ends up scooping up the blind Casey Luchador. The dude can't see worth anything because he's still trying to wipe the foam out of his eyes. He dumps him inside the cart, making for a makeshift getaway, and shoves it like a battering ram right at the champions. But Allen expertly sidesteps the charge, and the cart violently crashes into the steel ring steps. I think Johnny Knoxville did that one time. And like Johnny Knoxville, he ended up getting launched right out. Those poor gentlemen and ladies in the front row of the arena, they just got landed on by a big boy. With Casey incapacitated as well as the front row, Killing Cutter turns their full attention back to the giant, David Hill, turning the ringside area into a demolition derby. Allen tosses, y'all, warning, if there's any children around, cover your ears. Allen tosses a rusted cheese grater to Bubba. Bubba then ruthlessly grinds it across the forehead of David Hill. The vicious tactics work, painting the giant's face blood red and finally bringing the big man down to his knees. Casey Luchador, after being pushed off of the front row, frantically tries to re-enter this fray, attempting a desperate high-flying maneuver off of a folded steel chair, but Bubba catches him mid-air with a vicious European uppercut, sending the luchador spiraling backwards into the timekeeper's table. Allen slides a heavy oak table into the ring and sets it up near the center. I think we all know what's going to happen here. This is not about finesse anymore, y'all. This is about how can they do the most damage and prove that they deserve the gold that they have been carrying. They isolate David Hill, who is struggling to find his feet. Bubba delivers a series of bionic elbows that send the big man reeling over into the corner. And there's Bubba in his deep southern accent yelling, "Finish him!" His voice is heard over the roar of the crowd, and David Hill, he's showing resilience as best he can, as he is a resilient fighter. He's been in this for a decade. He knows what he's doing, and I think he knows what's coming. He makes for one last desperate attempt, taking a swing at them, but Allen ducks the punch and comes back with a thunderous lariat that nearly turns the inside out. I don't even know how that's possible. That pains my stomach to think about. Casey Luchador, there he comes running. He's scrambling back into the ring. He wants to save his partner, but he walks right into the belly of the beast. Bubba kicks Casey in the gut. Allen lifts him high into the air, and they execute their signature 3D, breaking the table in half. The masked man is driven with massive impact straight through the table, y'all. This wood is everywhere. The tag team champions are not content with a single pin, though. Killing Cutter, the duo drags the semi-conscious David Hill onto the heap of his partner, and Bubba and Allen draped themselves both over the challengers for the count. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, your winners and still the tag team champions, Killing Cutter. The champions stand tall amidst the wreckage of the broken timber and the twisted steel and the blood that lines the mat. They hold their titles high, and with the destruction complete, Bubba and Allen slowly step over the ruined bodies of their challengers. They walk away up the entrance ramp. The champions look down at the carnage they have created one last time. And y'all, this is messed up. I know this is hardcore tonight, but this is messed up. They go and they spit on the shattered remnants of the arena, showing zero respect for the No Mercy luchadors. These gentlemen were left broken in the center of the ring, and Killing Cutter have no respect for them.
Listen, crazy matchup. Didn't think that No Mercy Luchadors had that in them to do a match like that. But I don't think, I mean, that was spit. But, brother, I think that was like tobacco spit. I smelled it in them from the back. And that was like
it was dirty. It does make me wonder if Bubba Cutting or Killing Cutting, excuse me, whatever they're called. I have had too much moonshine with them earlier. It makes me wonder how much shine they had going into this match. Because usually I think they take a little bit more than they did tonight. So I wonder if that's what drove them, that they said, hey, we're taking these two serious. These two have been in this game a long time, and we know what they can bring.
Yeah, listen. I make fun of Killing Cutter, but they are a legitimate tag team. They're really good. I like how they smell because they remind me of my dirty uncle. But listen, they get it done. And I've heard the nickname I've heard for Bubba Killings in the past is Big Balls Bubba. And I think he should bring that back, bring it to Smoky Mountain Wrestling, because he's carrying his tag team partner. Big Balls Bubba is carrying Allen in this tag team. I've said it. I'm going to keep saying it because Allen don't talk in no promos. It's all Bubba, and all Bubba here tonight.
It is kind of a Penn and Teller mentality there, isn't it?
It is.
But both of them together, like Penn and Teller, make the magic happen. But
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, just speaking of dirty old uncles,
yes. Speaking of dirty old uncles, we have a guest with us tonight. He was mad that he wasn't on the pay-per-view card. He is a disgruntled employee. He is your dirty uncle and mine. It is the Wildcat, the villain, Craig Harris. What?
Oh.
What's good, Craig?
I'm just sitting here in Nebraska wondering what to do because I didn't get put on the card and look at all the some of the bottom talent that was put on this card. And then you look at me and you wonder what the hell's really going on around here.
Listen, it's not that we don't love you, but it's because we don't love you.
To be fair, I just get the match card from Lorenzo Benzo. I don't have a part of what happens here, so I'm glad to see you on though. I know you've been active in the locker room, helping all of us to see who Craig Harris really is and what you want to do in Smoky Mountain. I know, like TC said, you're a little bit of a disgruntled employee right now. So what do you want to see happen here in Smoky Mountain?
I have given Lorenzo Benzo the blueprint about working my way from the very bottom all the way up because when the guy I blame is to the left. I blame him ever since everybody wanted to cry about the EWO. Where's the napkins and the tears for Redeemed? I don't see none. And he wants to put that in my face like I didn't whoop his ass 5 minutes prior to him acquiring that.
I just want to keep you reminded of it.
Well, TC, do you have any questions or anything you want to talk about with our guest tonight?
Yeah, because he brought up something super important. A lot of our viewers probably don't know who the EWO is because it's brand new. This YouTube channel is brand new. But if you have learned the lexicon and been in the page of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, yeah, there was the EWO. They were great. They were a faction filled with egotistical, not nice words.
Buttholes.
And say it again?
Buttholes.
Yes, they were egotistical buttholes who didn't feel like the company was meant for everyone. But that's the difference between the Redeemed and the EWO. We are trying to make this place better, Craig. We're making it in our image, Craig.
And let me inform everybody that's watching what happened when the EWO used to say the same thing, keeping people down. And guess what? TC Adams got caught holding people down, because why make everybody else's match really good when TC Adams can't be the main event, can't be the semi-main event, but he's middle of the card. So anybody before him can't outshine him, and that's just the cold hard facts. So congratulations if Beast wins or Queen wins, because you're going to need both of them to even touch the world title. So maybe I did you a favor and you held on to the briefcase. Maybe somebody's doing you a favor and didn't take the green ticket from you. Well, one thing's for certain, when you fail, I'm going to be the first person laughing.
All right, see, this is what I'm talking about, a disgruntled employee. Look, but before he spoke, Brother Ambrose, did you not notice something he did? I saw it. Did you see it?
What did he do?
He put his hand up. He put his hand up, so he is a believer of the Redeemed. Oh, Craig, I've been waiting for this day my entire life.
Craig, I am amazed that you agreed to come onto this show with TC Adams, because I have to do it. It's in my contract. Lorenzo doesn't let me wrestle unless I'm also here. You had a choice. Why do you put up with this guy?
That's the one thing. I might not be able to get that briefcase back, but mark my words, I'm going to do something that hurts you even worse. Maybe we won't take Goalie Guns' title. Maybe Truck will be this guy that's right here, but could be right here, but he just keeps believing in horse nonsense. Maybe that's just what I need to do. I need to hit both of your little Gestapos at the same time, and that's what would happen. So I got to go find me somebody that would actually team with me, and I'll get back to you.
Before you leave, I would like to invite you to stay to witness what's about to happen to this Korean nightmare known as Kwon Soo as he goes one-on-one with my gunner, Gully Guns. Are you interested in staying for this?
You know, I'm actually am kind of, because I want to see your reaction live when Goalie loses, and he will. I want to see your expression when the guy that used to hold your bags and your tag team wins the title. I loved Goalie. There was a time where I would have sung his praise high up and mighty, but no more. I see Goalie walking out tonight with one less belt on his shoulder and one less worry to care for. So let's roll that.
All right, let's see if Kwon Soo.
Those are strong words from Craig. So sorry to cut you off, but I agree. Let's see what Let's see what Quan Su can do to your boy.
Well, the atmosphere in the Xfinity Mobile Arena is electric, but a predatory silence falls as the Korean werewolf Kwon Soo emerges at 6'6" at 300 pounds. No way. He's more like 450 pounds, that fat ass. He is a mountain of muscle and controlled rage, marching towards the ring with a terrifying focus. But high above in the luxury glass suites, I found the unbroken one, is I, your Redeemer, T.C. Adams, a cold-blooded leader of the redeemed, doesn't even stand up for the Kwon Soo, the Korean werewolf. Why would I? He simply watches. I watch with a calculated smirk, and I am tapping my fingers against the metal railing there and on a case that is sitting on my lap. As Kwon Soo reaches the base of the ramp, he stops for a moment and he screams at the rafters with his chest heaving with adrenaline. But from the skybox, I move finally and I flip open the latches on the case, revealing a high-powered tranquilizer rifle equipped with a thermal scope. As I rest the barrel on the edge of the glass partition, taking a slow, deep breath. I center the tranquilizer dart in the crosshairs, and then I shoot Kwon Soo in the neck with precision and perfect aim with a tranquilizer dart in his neck, causing him to collapse. And the sound of the crowd of a roar of anticipation is instantly severed and replaced with a collective horrified gasp as it sucks the air right out of the building. Yeah, I dropped that MFer to the ground with a tranquilizer dart. In the front row, a child drops his popcorn. A nearby man stands and froze. Their mouths are agape as they witness a literal giant being hunted like a wild animal. Bro, you don't think I need to come in here with a plan?
I don't know if that's a plan as much of a crime.
Crime. You joke. All right. As the shock is visceral, a cold wave of disbelief is washing over thousands of fans as they realize that the rule book has been thrown out the window and the law has been thrown out the window. Kwon Soo staggers, his massive frame swaying like an oak. He reaches back, tearing the dart out of a guttural roar and turns into a slurred groan. His central nervous system begins to misfire under the weight of the fast-acting sedative. Before he recovers his footing, Gully Gun sprints from the crowd, swinging the Hardcore Championship like a medieval mace. The heavy golden plates crack Kwon Soo on the skull, sending the spray of sweat and blood into the front row. Gross. The werewolf tries to swing a massive fist, but his muscles turn to lead, seeing a giant still struggling to stand up. I fire a second shot from the shadows of the suite. This one buries into the square of Kwon Soo's lower back. The giant's knees finally buckle and he collapses face first onto the steel ramp, his breathing slowly into a heavy crawl, and suddenly, in a blur of motion, hits the ramp.
Craig, yeah. I'm not so sure that you're right about Kwon Soo walking out with the title tonight.
Yeah, I just find it funny. Your hate for our person is so bad that you had to turn a briefcase that I made famous into a damn gun holder.
Mm-hmm. There's always a plan B.
Tell us how Gully walks out of this one.
Well, Gully doesn't. Well, we'll see what's going to happen because Craig Harris is in the building. Craig Harris is in the building, and he's
you didn't tell us that, Craig.
Yeah, Craig, you said you were in Nebraska.
You liar.
I might have fibbed a little.
He slides into the chaos, driving his shoulders into Gully's ribs and sending the champion spiraling. Chaos erupts as security and the chairman of the board, Lorenzo Benzo, rushes to the scene. Benzo grabs the microphone, his voice booming, and the frantic medical staff tending to the unconscious Quan Su. He looks up at the skybox and shouts that if Adams thinks he can cheat the fans out of a title fight, that he is mistaken, and he orders Gully Guns into the ring and announces that this match is still happening, and his brand new opponent, Craig Harris, is now going to challenge Gully Guns for the Hardcore Championship. Craig, how do you feel?
I'd say that's pretty interesting, the idea that Gully was the stooge you had picked, and you could have obviously chose me, but who's complaining? I guess it all works out in the end.
Well, we'll see if it works out for you in the end. Once the match clears, the referee quickly shackles a thick, heavy hemp rope to the wrists of Harris and Guns. A 12-foot cowbell clangs, more cowbell, against the canvas. The bell rings. Gully Guns immediately uses the rope to short-arm Harris, pulling him into a devastating boot to the face. He laughs, dragging Harris' body towards the first corner. He touches one, then two. Then Harris drops to the mat and performs a technical leg sweep with the rope, tripping up Gully. Harris transitions instantly into a crossface using the bull rope to extra tighten the leverage against Gully's neck. Gully manages to power up, hitting a thunderous slam that sends Harris crashing into the turnbuckle. Then he wraps the rope around Harris's throat, tossing the excess over the rope, attempting to hoist him up in a brutal display of force. Harris's eyes bulge, but his gritty survival instinct kicks in. He reaches up and grabs the heavy cowbell and smashes it repeatedly into Gully Guns' forehead. Blood begins to flow from Gully's face, but he will not let go. Harris follows up with a series of snap suplexes, each one utilizing the weight of the rope to add more of an impact to the spine. The fight spills to the outside as Harris grabs the cowbell and wedges it into the ring post. He pulls the rope taut, dragging Gully's face directly into the cold steel bell with a sickening clang. Gully staggers back, only met by Harris's leaping off the steel steps and wrapping the bull rope around Gully's waist mid-air, driving him into the barricade with a modified bulldog. The crowd is screaming. The earlier shock replaced now by a raw violence of struggle. Gully finds an opening, grabbing a chair from under the ring and smashing it into Harris's ribs. Then he lays the chair flat on the canvas, pulls Harris back into the ring, and delivers a devastating power bomb directly onto the steel, the rope tangling around them both like a spider web. Gully Guns ducks a clothesline and then hits a high-velocity lariat, but the momentum sends them both tumbling towards the ropes. From the shadows of the entryway, my man, Dump Truck, the muscle of the Redeemed, comes lumbering towards the ring to help his teammate. As I'm screaming from the luxury box directions, desperate to keep the gold in the camp of the Redeemed, Harris is dazed. Gully is pulling Harris towards the fourth and final corner to retain his title as Dump Truck climbs onto the apron, swinging a heavy lead pipe intended for Harris's skull. Harris ducks at the last possible second, and the pipe whistles through the air and connects flush with Gully Guns' jaw. The champion is turned inside out, flipping over the top rope to the floor, but because they are shackled together, Gully's massive weight acts as a counterbalance, jerking Harris forward like a slingshot. As Gully hangs off the apron, Harris realizes he is inches away because he's already touched 3 turnbuckles. He is inches away from the final turnbuckle. With Truck's back turned as he argues with the referee, he accidentally hit. Then Harris lunges. He reaches for the first corner and gets it. The second corner and gets it. The third corner gets it. And he finally slams his head down on the fourth corner. The bell rings and the announcer declares Craig Harris is the new hardcore champion as Harris unclips the rope and rolls out of the ring just as Dump Truck realizes the magnitude of his mistake. High above, I scream at the top of my lungs in absolute rage, but Craig Harris stands over a still unconscious Quan Su on the ramp, raising the title high. Victory for the werewolf, but delivered by the man who refused to back down. Your winner and new hardcore champion, Craig Harris.
You know, it feels good when you have to acknowledge me, and it kind of gives me a joy that you're wrong and I was right. Was I right about the whole thing? Not exactly. But I knew after you took that briefcase, it was only a matter of time before I took something that you found precious and dear, and I ripped it away from you. It might have not been your title, not your briefcase, but another person loses their value in the redeemed. Now it's up to you, because I'm playing chess, not checkers.
Well, and as they say in 3 Corinthians, when God closes a door, he'll open a window for you.
Listen, Craig, you got lucky. You took something from me. Don't worry. We're coming right back for you. I promise we're going to get that hardcore championship back. I guarantee it.
I'm personally very excited to see what the villain does with the hardcore championship. And let me say, Craig, congratulations. And on behalf of the entire Smoky Mountain universe, we are so glad to see the redeemed start to be dismantled.
Tick tock, tick tock. That's all I got to say, TC.
Well, I've had enough of you, Craig. Get out of here. Enjoy your night tonight. I hope you don't sleep well.
I'll be sure to wipe that hardcore title of that little whatever you give people in the redeemed, because I sure don't want it, and I sure showed I don't need it.
Get out of here. Good riddance. You know what? You know what's the other thing? I've never lost the hardcore title. So, Craig Harris, you have property of mine that doesn't belong to you. I lend it to Gully Guns, and he failed me. So do I need to step in and take back what was mine? We'll see. We'll see. Because we got to keep the show rolling as we have our next member of the Redeemed putting up his championship on the line. It is my man, Big Man Truck, Dump Truck, taking on the franchise, Brandon Buck, for the .com King Championship. I got some comments here. Well deserved, says JC Renegade. And then he also says, Hell Inc. will forever be the greatest tag team. Maybe. But the roar of the Smoky Mountain faithful is deafening as Brandon Buck and Dump Truck stand close to chest. Truck is angry right now, right? He had done messed up.
Big angry.
Screwed my man out of his title, and now he's going to take out his aggression and rage on Brandon Buck.
Let's see it.
I'm still up in the private suites, and I'm detached and disgruntled, but as the bell rings, the war for the .com King Championship begins with a collision that shakes the ring post. Truck immediately uses his massive frame to bully Brandon Buck into the corner, unloading a thudding body shots that echo like gunshots. He whips Brandon Buck across the ring, and he such a force that the challenger flips over the turnbuckle, landing hard on the apron. Truck doesn't give him a second to breathe. Charging like a juggernaut, he knocking Buck off the apron with a shoulder block that sends him crashing into the steel barricade. The champion follows him out, slamming Buck's spine against the ring post before dropping him face first into the announcer's table. Truck attempts to finish it early with a powerbomb onto the floor, but Buck desperately rakes the eyes and slides down his back. Buck finds a sudden burst of speed, hopping onto the barricade and connecting with a diving clothesline, and finally brings the Giant to one knee. Buck tries to roll him back in, but Truck recovers instantly, catching Buck by the throat and choke slamming him onto the hard edge of the ring apron. Ugh, that's hard, but I love to see it. The referee's count reaches 8 before Brandon Buck frantically slides back into the ring, only to be met with a heavy leg drop from Truck that nearly flattens his chest. Brandon Buck is reeling, but he finds an opening as Truck tries to toss him back inside for the second time. Buck slides under the bottom rope, springs to his feet, and catches Truck with a leaping enziguri. Seizing the momentum, Buck hits the ropes and dives through this with a suicide dive, but Truck catches him midair. Buck wiggles free, shoves Truck into the ring steps, and delivers a devastating super kick that leaves the champion slumped over the steel. Buck isn't done, though. He rolls into the ring and rolls right back out, delivering a second running super kick that sends Truck head snapping back against the ring post. Oh, my gosh. Back inside, the match reaches its fever pitch as Buck ascends the turnbuckle, but Gully Gunn suddenly appears, shaking the ropes and crotching Brandon Buck on the ropes. He did this while the referees were distracted. Truck climbs up and executes a terrifying superplex that implodes in the center of the ring as Truck crawls over for the cover, the 1, the 2, but Brandon Buck hits his shoulder back up. Truck, frustrated, drags Buck to the center and locks in a crushing bear hug, draining the life out of the challenger. Buck's face turns purple. His arms are flailing, but he manages to clasp his hands over Truck's ears to break the hold. Buck hits the ropes looking for a crossbody, but Truck catches him and hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker that looks like it snapped Brandon Buck in half. Truck then follows up. Well, it looks like then Truck follows up with a massive running splash, and the signals for the finish. He hoists Brandon Buck up for the Mac Danny Slam, and as he runs, Gully Gunn reaches in and trips Buck's leg to ensure the impact is more jarring, but then the referee tries to cover it for the 1, the 2, but Buck kicks out. His shoulder is up, and there is absolute milliseconds left in the count. The referee, finally realizing Gunn's constant interference, has seen enough, and he wheels around and points his finger towards the curtain. Gully Gunn has been banned from ringside. The former hardcore champion is livid, screaming at the officials as the security escorts him away. Truck is distracted, shouting at the referee over the ejection, but crawls to his feet, fueled by the crowd's energy. Truck turns around in a blur of motion, and then Brandon Buck connects with a sweet chin music, but Truck wobbles like a skyscraper in an earthquake. Truck lunges forward for one last lariat, but Buck ducks under and catches him with a rebound and delivers a thunderous GTS. The knee connects flush with Truck's jaw, sending a spray of sweat and blood again into the front row. Buck doesn't hesitate. He tunes up the band one more time that stomps the fans, shaking the arena floor, and unleashes a second, even more powerful Sweet 10 music that flush against the jaw. Truck's eyes roll back into his head, and he crashes to the canvas as Brandon Buck collapses on top of him, hooking the leg. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the brand new. The roof nearly blows off the building. Brandon Buck is now a 2-time .com King champion, and he stays slumped over Truck's chest, forehead pressed against the mat. Reality is sinking in. He finally pushes himself up. His hands are trembling. He wipes the blood from his lips and screams. He is now the .com King champion once again. As Brandon Buck takes his title, goes up to the ring and celebrates, up the ramp and celebrates, he locks eyes in the private suite as TC Adams, I am furious. But Brandon Buck holds that title high in defiance of the redeemed. Dang it!
TC, your boys aren't having that good of a night tonight, are they?
No, they're not having a good night. I'm not happy about it. Not one bit. Sick of this.
Well, I do just want to take a quick moment, and I want to say to those within the arena tonight, especially if you are in the first row, I want to let you know that medics are available if any would like to be checked due to the spit and blood that may or may not have landed on you. We will do testing if any are interested in that. And also, Lorenzo wanted me to remind you that when you bought your ticket, you did sign in the terms and conditions, you did agree that you cannot hold Smoky Mountain Wrestling liable for anything that may or may not happen to you.
I'm not happy, Brother Ambrose. I tell you what, I'm not happy, and I'm going to take it out. Look at these stupid comments. Look at this. Well deserved, Brandon. Well deserved, Brandon. Brother got lucky tonight. Listen, he got lucky. You know who's not going to get lucky tonight?
Tell me who. Oh.
Chase Havoc and Reggie Walker as they go. Now, listen. I'm not going to fail tonight. You know, I am not going to fail tonight. I'm going to retain this championship. And then watch. I'm keeping a close eye on that main event. Listen. Gully Guns may have lost the hardcore title. Dump Truck may have lost the .com King title, but I am not losing the green ticket title, and I'm certainly not going to lose the world heavyweight title. That's for certain.
We will see what happens, as you are correct that it is your match next with you, Chase Havoc, excuse me, and Reggie Walker. The bell rings. TC Adams flashes a smug grin, expecting the two challengers to turn on each other immediately. So he steps back and he leans against the rope and he tells them, "You two fight." Instead, Havoc and Walker exchange a quick nod to one another. Before Adams can react, Havoc drops low with a lightning-fast roundhouse kick to Adams' leg, while Walker simultaneously connects with a crisp snapping jab to the jaw. The champion is staggered. Havoc begins a fury of rapid-fire strikes to the chest, each kick echoing like a thunderclap on the champion's ribs. Excuse me. As Adams doubles over, Walker catches him in a fluid neckbreaker, slamming the champion's head down onto the canvas. The crowd is erupting as the teammates pick the champion apart with the precision of a surgical team. The teamwork of reckless intent reaches a fever pitch when they back Adams into a corner. Havoc executes a precise running drop kick, and as Adams is stumbling out, Walker catches him with a side slam position, holding him steady for Havoc to leap off of the top rope with a diving knee right into the back of TC Adams' big ol' head. For the first 5 minutes, TC Adams is not a champion. Instead, he's a punching bag. Frustrated and humiliated, Adams rolls to the outside. When Havoc attempts a diving plancha to keep the pressure on, Adams catches him mid-air, and he drives him spine first into the steel ring post. Oh, that hurts my back just thinking about it. Walker rushes out to help, but Adams is prepared. As the referee tries to usher Havoc back into the ring, Adams reaches under it. He goes under the apron, and he pulls out a heavy and jagged, let me see if I'm seeing this right, a jagged piece of a broken clock face, which I believe is a leftover prop from the stage. While the ref is distracted by Havoc's limp body, Adams rakes the sharp metallic edge right across Reggie Walker's forehead. The effect is instantaneous, y'all. Crimson red begins to flow down Walker's face, blinding him. Adams is not done. He rolls back into the ring and he meets the technical specialist Chase Havoc with a devastating powerbomb into the turnbuckle, followed immediately by a soaring frog splash. This match is becoming a massacre. TC Adams' feud by heel malice and likely anger from his two boys just losing alternates his assault with cruel efficiency. He traps Havoc in a crossface while shouting insults that I will not repeat on TV as we have small children watching. And when Havoc refuses to tap, Adams transitions into a buckle bomb that leaves Havoc crumpled in the corner. Adams then turns his attention to Walker, utilizing a precise and technical STO before transitioning into a brutal ground and pound, reopening the wound on Walker's head until the canvas will need to be replaced tonight, y'all. It is stained blood red. Despite all the blood loss, the challengers find one last spark of life for a high-risk gamble. Will it pay off? As Adams mocks them, Walker manages to lift the champion up onto his shoulders into a towering electric chair setup. Seeing the opening, Chase Havoc scrambles up the turnbuckle with shaky legs, and he launches himself through the air, connecting with a massive doomsday device that sends Adam crashing into the mat. The stadium is erupting, y'all, as Havoc hooks TC Adams' leg. We've got one. We've got two. We've got the champion kicks out at the last millisecond. Both challengers are now a bloody mess. And somehow TC Adams has remained blood-free throughout all of this. The two are struggling to stand upright, and they're leaning on one another just to stay upright. Adam stands firm over them, laughing as they recover and as he himself recovers. He signals for the end, grabbing Walker and setting him up for a pedigree-style face-buster, but he then tosses him aside like trash to focus instead on Chase Havoc. Adams drags Havoc into the center of the ring, and he forces Havoc's face right down into the blood-stained mat. Looking out at the crowd with a wide and quite frankly disturbing grin, he springs into the air, coming down with a thunderous curb stomp. Havoc's head bounces off the mat with a sickening thud. Adams doesn't even bother to pin him yet. He pulls a lifeless, bleeding Reggie Walker on top of Havoc, and he covers both of them for the pin. The referee counts 1, 2, 3, and TC Adams is announced as still your green ticket champion. The referee then hands the ticket or the green ticket title over to Adams as he stands over the broken and bloodied bodies of Reckless Intent, raising the gold high. But as he begins his victory celebration, the house lights begin to fail. It seems they're flickering almost rhythmically, almost like a pulse that's starting to fade. Suddenly, the speakers crackle, and a long, mournful howl of the werewolf pierces through the arena, echoing through the rafters. Walker and Havoc's faces may be blood red, but Adam's face is as white as a ghost, as all the blood has drained from it. He doesn't wait for the lights to come back on, and instead, he, clutching his championship to his chest, scrambles over the barricade, vanishing into the shadows of the crowd, with his eyes darting frantically, looking to see where the Korean werewolf is, knowing that he is being hunted. You may have won, TC, but the question is, did you really win?
Of course I won. I stacked him. Didn't I not? Have I not said that over and over and over again, that I was going to put these two back into irrelevancy and stack them both and retain my precious gold? And then now, you know what? I'm not worried. I put a tranquilizer dart into the neck and back of Kwon Soo. I shot him twice. You think I'm worried about him? No, I'm not worried. And now I'm going to go and get myself focused and ready, and I'm going to watch the main event, because I promise you, you haven't seen the last of me tonight.
Before we get to the main event, there is, of course, the issue of JC Renegade.
You're absolutely right.
You all know that I am a man of peace. I am a man of prayer. Breaking Point has been difficult for me to watch, and so I do not plan on doing physical damage to JC unless I have to. But I do want to bring him to his spiritual breaking point so that he can realize that these demons are not the answer, that he does not need to say yes to the demons that fill his life with hellfire smoke. So TC, before we get to the main event, yes, JC has reminded us that I need to remember my head. Yes, I may have sustained physical damage to my head, but we will heal you of your mental damage that is taking place in your head. And so, TC, I give it over to you, and let's see what happens to JC Renegade.
Bunch of fighting words that are happening in the comments section. Look, he even said, "Well deserved for my championship retention." Thank you, JC. I appreciate you. I'm not going to read the next one after that one, but I don't need to. But we are now focused on you two, you, Brother Ambrose, and JC Renegade. As the bell rings, JC Renegade doesn't wait. He looks wired, his eyes darting towards the corner of the arena, seeing the shadows of the crowd. He lunges at Brother Ambrose with a feral intensity, driving him into the turnbuckle with a series of shoulder thrusts that knock the wind out of the monk. Brother Ambrose, the man of the cloth and iron, absorbs the fury of stiff forearms as he pushes JC back, trying to create distance to speak, to offer some peace. But Renegade answers with a sickening headbutt, the same move that busted Ambrose open weeks ago. Blood trickles from Ambrose's beautiful bald head. Beautiful bald head, but he doesn't even flinch. He levels JC with a massive lariat that turns Renegade inside out. As the match spills to the outside, the psychological toll on JC becomes visible. He stops mid-strike, clutching his head as the siren seemed to blare through the PA system, or perhaps just in his mind. Ambrose takes advantage, hitting a suicide dive that sends both of them into the barricade. Ambrose rolls back in, but JC catches him on the apron, dragging his face across the top rope before snapping him back into the ring with a springboard neckbreaker. JC scales the turnbuckle looking for a diving headbutt, but Ambrose moves for the last second. JC crashes hard, and Ambrose capitalizes with a sit-out powerbomb that nearly ends the match. Instead of pinning him, Ambrose stands over JC, shouting, what do you shout?
Fight the voices, JC. I am here to help.
JC crawls to the center of the ring, screaming at the rafters, haunted by the ghost of D-Man Smoke. In a display of raw power, Ambrose lifts JC for a military press, but his empathy betrays him. He sets JC down gently instead of slamming him. Reaching out a hand, JC reacts like he's been burned, kicking Ambrose low and hitting a high-angle DDT. The match reaches its fever pitch as both men trade blows in the center of the ring. A slugfest of desperation versus conviction. Ambrose connects with a series of heavy strikes, and he is setting up for a finisher. Suddenly, the arena lights flicker. I thought I paid these men. There's a blackout. And when the light surges back to life, a collective gasp ripples through the crowd. Standing at ringside is the returning D-Man Smoke. D-Man Smoke has returned to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He has returned. He doesn't look like the man who just hauled away in an ambulance. He looks like a man who owns the shadows, dressed in a sharp, pitch black suit and matching turtleneck. His eyes are hidden behind the dark aviator sunglasses. He stands with his tattooed hand clasped calmly in front of him, and the aura of cold and calculating authority radiating from his motionless frame. JC Renegade freezes. He collapses to his knees, staring at Smoke with a look of pure, unadulterated horror. Brother Ambrose, the ever-protector, steps between them. He leans over the rope, screaming at D-Man Smoke to leave, pleading the torment to end and turn back to the fallen renegade. Smoke says nothing. His expression remains a mask of stone behind the dark-tinted lenses. Slowly, but almost methodically, Smoke turns his head towards Ambrose. Its silent, chilling command. The horror on JC's face melts into a chilling, jagged smirk as Ambrose continues to argue with a silent Smoke. JC springs to his feet like a feline in speed, but he doesn't target Smoke. He targets his savior. That's wild. JC connects with a vicious big boot to the back of Ambrose's head, sending Brother Ambrose crashing to the turnbuckle. The crowd is in a state of absolute shock. Smoke doesn't move a muscle, but his presence looms over the ring like a shadow. The alliance is unspoken, but deafening. JC drags the dazed Ambrose outside, to the outside, tossing him like a trash toward the steel steps. He scales the steps, hauling Ambrose up by the throat. With a look of religious fever, JC leaps, driving Ambrose into the concrete floor with a cowboy killer off the steel steps. The impact of the cutter on the floor sends a thud through the arena. The sound of the skull hitting the floor echoes. The crowd is silent. Paralyzed by betrayal, JC stands over the broken body of Ambrose. Smoke steps up behind him and places his tattooed hand on JC Renegade's shoulder. The lights cut out one last time, and when they return, the floor is empty. Brother Ambrose lies alone in the wreckage, while JC Renegade and D-Man Smoke have vanished into the dark. Whoa! D-Man Smoke is back. Did not see that coming. Did you?
This is the issue in our world. You have poor, unfortunate souls with the light and the darkness fighting for them. And I am surprised that the darkness decided to return so soon, especially after the ambulance match that he and JC had just gone through. JC, I don't understand.
Listen, they have a history with each other. It's a demented, twisted, tormented past. But I like it. I want to see where this goes. If it means it's going to continue to hurt you, I want to see where this goes.
JC, you need not be defined by your past. But we shall see where it goes.
Well said, Brother Ambrose. And before, look, I got a text message from Lorenzo Benzo about a new debuting superstar coming to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He wanted me to air this clip before the main event. Let's get a look at this upcoming superstar.
Let's see.
Yes.
Well, it looks like it froze.
I was about to say, I do believe that this video was being streamed in from Mexico, so there might be a little of a buffering issue.
There might be a little bit of a buffering issue, but you know what? I think if I read the video correctly, it said El Colosso Americano.
I have heard of him. He has done some amazing work in Mexico.
I've heard of him
coming
too.
to Smoky Mountain?
I've heard of El Colosso Americano, and I am super excited to have him come to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Listen, I got word in my earpiece that the video was coming in live streamed from Mexico, but it's going to be up on the Smoky Mountain Wrestling page right after the show's over. But listen, I'm super pumped for El Colosso Americano.
Like I said, I've heard great things about him. I cannot wait. This mysterious man has done wonders down in Mexico, so I can only imagine what he'll do here in Smoky Mountain.
I mean, we didn't get to hear it, but he cusses at people in Spanish, and that's probably one of my favorite things.
That's hysterical.
All right, it is now time, the main event of Breaking Point. We are here. We have made it. And it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. It is.
Yes, let's get this going. It is the Queen versus Beastmode. And for our viewers, if you do not already know this, this is a bit tense, as these two are indeed husband and wife. And the atmosphere inside the arena is suffocating, y'all. It is a thick blanket of anticipation draped over thousands of screaming fans as the lights dim and tick to a rhythmic clock. The screen on the Jumbotron flickers to life, showing a grainy handheld camera feed outside of the locker room with a door labeled Beast Mode. Suddenly, the door is kicked off of its hinges. Beast Mode storms out. This man is a physical marvel of intensity. He is flanked by a security detail that, if we're honest, can barely keep up with his pace. He doesn't take the ramp, and instead, he dives right into the crowd, a sea of hands reaching out as he marches through the stands with the focused snarl of a predator. He leaps over the barricade, and the moment that his boots hits the ringside mats, a wall of pyrotechnics explode behind him, bathing the arena in gold and white fire. He slides into the ring and paces like a caged animal. The very ring ropes are vibrating from his energy. And then the mood shifts. The heavy bass of Beast Mode's music is replaced by a soaring and regal orchestral arrangement. High above the entrance ramp, a spotlight finds her. Yes, it is indeed her, the world heavyweight champion, the Queen, appears. She is draped in a beautiful floor-length white fur and shimmering silver, and her crown is catching the light as she carries the gold over her shoulders with that immovable and distinguished royal pose. The champ takes her time, not rushing, as she walks the ramp with a slow, deliberate confidence of someone who knows that not only Smoky Mountain, but the world belongs to her. As she enters the ring, she stands inches from her husband, the champion's advantage etched in her steady gaze. As they meet in the center, the referee holds the gold between them, and the silence that falls is heavy with the realization that despite being married to one another, until this match is over, they are indeed rivals. The bell rings, but there's no immediate clash. In a profound homage to technical mastery, they refuse to throw a single strike. This is a battle of leverage, of positioning, and of heart. They circle a beautiful, high-speed chess match, beginning without a closed fist or even a kick thrown. The Queen uses her massive strength to shoulder past Beast Mode, but he counters with a spectacular backflip, landing on his feet and offering a smirk and a wink. They trade a sequence of chain wrestling so fluid that honestly it looks choreographed by gravity itself. Leaping and ducking, rolling through one another, and hitting double drop kicks that result in a synchronized stalemate. It's almost as if these two know each other and know their moves. The crowd is on its feet for the sheer athleticism that is taking place. The story is told through technical mastery rather than violence. As the match deepens, the technical exchanges become more intricate. Beast Mode catches the Queen in a deep waistlock, looking to ground the champion. The Queen, utilizing her superior base, powers out and catches him in a side headlock takeover. Beast Mode instantly counters with head scissors on the mat, but the Queen nimbly kips up, only to be caught in a sunset flip attempt. As she rolls through, she tries to lock in a leg lace, but Beast Mode kicks his legs free and bridges into a backslide. The referee counts 1, 2, but she rolls out at the last microsecond. They stand and they offer a simultaneous, crisp, technical salute. The audience is roaring at the pure sport of it all. The pace then shifts as they move to the ropes. The Queen whips Beast Modes across the ring, He slides through her legs, leaps onto the middle rope, and comes back with a springboard crossbody. The Queen catches him midair, but instead of a slam, she rolls with his momentum using a small package pin that catches him off guard. But Beast Mode instantly kicks out and transitions into a victory mode. The Queen then powers out of the pin by simply standing up with him on her shoulders. But rather than dropping him, she gently deposits him on the apron. Beast Mode responds by springboarding back in with a sunset flip from the top rope, a move of incredible grace, and that sees the Queen desperately grabbing the bottom rope to break the count from the pin that he just laid. They then move into a sequence of breathtaking counters that leave the crowd gasping for air. The Queen attempts a massive powerbomb, but Beast Mode maneuvers in midair to land behind her, hooking her arms for a crucifix pin. She powers out, but he immediately transitions into a ground-based octopus stretch, wrapping his limbs like a vine around the champion. The Queen, showing her incredible strength, stands up while he is still locked onto her back. Walking to the corners, they force a break, and as they separate, they lock eyes. Not anger, but I think just mutual realization that they indeed are a perfect match. The Queen, showing a side of her agility rarely seen, climbs up to the second rope and attempts a diving neck breaker, but Beast Mode catches her as she's falling. He transitions into a Northern Light suplex and holds the bridge, and the referee drops to count 1, 2, 3. The Queen kicks out, and in one fluid motion uses that momentum to transition into a cross arm breaker. Beast Mode frantically rolls to the rope, his face a mask of concentration. The momentum is swinging wildly, y'all. It's like a pendulum. Who will win, the Queen or Beast Mode? Back and forth, back and forth. Beast Mode hits a beautiful springboard moonsault to the outside, barely grazing the Queen to ensure that she isn't hurt. And yet the impact is enough to draw a roar from the crowd. The Queen recovers, showing her deceptive agility by catching Beast Mode midair during a crossbody attempt and transitioning into a world-shaking power slam. She goes for the cover, but as she does, Beast Mode shoulders up just as the referee's hand is inches from the mat. Moments later, Beast Mode sets up for a massive lariat, but stops himself, opting instead for a bridging dragon suplex. The Queen somehow finds the strength to bridge out at the last possible second, and they are deep into this match, you guys. They both have sweat pouring off of them. They are breathing heavy, and yet not a single strike has landed. This is pure, unadulterated, athletic masterpiece. The Queen finds her opening finally, dragging Beast Mode's weary frame towards the corner. She scales with surprising grace, looking to end her husband off with his head. She leaps, wrapping her legs around his neck for the lightning-fast head scissors DDT, but Beast Mode catches her midair, showing incredible core strength to stall her momentum. He sets her down gently, the mask of a competitor slipping for a moment as he gazes into her eyes. The crowd knows the end is coming. Beast Mode backs into a corner, pointing at his knee for the only knee that matters. He charges, and his speed is terrifying. But as he reaches the point of no return, he sees the exhaustion in his wife's eyes, and he drops. He pulls the strike down, he moves away. He skids to a halt. It would seem that his heart is winning over his career ambitions. Beast Mode cannot do it. He loves her too much to shatter the reign of his queen. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that this match will end in a no contest. But the air seems to be thick. Something seems to be happening. From the darkness of the crowd, somebody's running through the crowd and they're about to jump the barricade. That's TC Adams, y'all. That is the leader of the Redeemed, leaping over with his green ticket championship in his hands, raised high. Oh my goodness, y'all. We knew this was coming. We knew his boys are never far away. Gully Guns and Dump Truck are running through the crowd, trying to catch up to him as they are ready to swarm and they are ready to ruin the masterpiece that Beast Mode and the Queen just put on. But before TC can slide into the ring to capitalize on their hesitation, a shadow emerges from the opposite side of the arena. My goodness, it is Quan Su. I don't know how he has the strength within him. I don't know what the medics gave him to reverse the tranquilizer or to help him heal. But y'all, that is the Korean werewolf standing there, and he looks fit and as strong and as pissed as ever. TC freezes. His face is contorting into pure terror. Quan Su doesn't even look at the Queen or Beast Mode. Instead, he reaches behind his neck. Oh my goodness, y'all, this is without the help of the medic. He pulls the tranquilizer out of his neck. He throws it on the ground and he reaches behind his back to grab the second. One lucky fan, along with Quan Su, now have a souvenir from TC Adams. The visual of the dart causes TC to stagger back. His bravado is gone. Quan Su stares at TC with a cold, predatory hunger that makes the leader of the Redeemed stumble backwards. He is in a blind panic. Chaos erupts as Quan Su takes off. He lunges after TC Adams, and TC Adams, desperate and cowardly, sidesteps the charge at the very last second, shoving the excuse me, y'all. This is just taking my breath away. Shoving the hovering Beast Mode directly into the line and the path of the Korean werewolf. Quan Su, already in full throttle hunting mode and blinded by pure fury and rage, cannot stop his momentum. Rather than connecting with TC, he connects this momentous and monstrous spear with Beast Mode. Beast Mode is nearly snapped in half. I don't know if he's getting up from this. That looked terrible. The referee calls for the bell. The match ends in a disqualification. Y'all, the artistry from tonight appears to have been shattered. The Queen stands over her fallen husband, her face shifting from shock to a terrifying yet royal rage. Quan Su realizes that he has made a huge mistake. The red mist, as he looks down at the man he just leveled, has cleared. He backs away towards the crowd. He raises his hands in a silent and desperate apology, nodding to the champion that his target was TC Adams and not her beloved. But the Queen is not listening. She looks at the wreckage of her main event and points a trembling finger at the werewolf. Her voice cuts through the arena like a blade as she says to Quan Su, "Your ass is mine. Sunday Night War."
Don't you love it when a plan comes together?
Was your plan running like chicken shit through the crowd?
You're a man of the cloth, aren't you? Sitting there saying all kinds of words, aren't you? But the point is, this match ended in disqualification. Queen and Beast both wanted a respectful finish, and Quan Su ruined it. Quan Su is the one who caused the disqualification. Quan Su is the loser in all of this, and now he has to go one-on-one with the world champion on Sunday Night War. That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
It was a beautiful match. An unfortunate ending.
Because Quan Su is an absolute idiot. So, hey, listen. Oh, JC wants to know, you good?
I will be. Head injuries, they can take a while, but I will be good. But more importantly, JC Renegade, you will be good.
Listen, Brother Ambrose, it's been a pleasure joining or being with you tonight to recap Breaking Point with you. The matches were all phenomenal. And listen, we have two brand new champions, whether I like it or not, two brand new champions. A retention as I stack some MFers, and you got your head caved in by a returning D-Man Smoke. And we got Quan Su in the crosshairs of the Queen. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss a second of the action as we come back to you live with Sunday Night War. It's going to be great. Again, Brother Ambrose, thank you so much for joining. It is I, your Redeemer, TC Adams, and we look forward to the next time we can be on your screens. Ladies and gentlemen, until we see each other again, have a good night.